Hey folks, it's Chris Calcott here, Calc, and I'm at Guitar Amp and Keyboard in Brighton, the fine city of Brighton, and I've got a special treat today. I've brought down the TEO-5, so we'll take a good first look at this amazing synthesizer from Oberheim. So here it is, it's the TEO-5, Oberheim's latest and an absolute stunning instrument. You can see it's quite a small form factor here. We've got 44 notes. This is a Fatar key bed, so it feels really nice, but it's on a kind of a 3.5 octave keyboard, which is actually a really nice size for portability, not taking up too much desk space, but actually 3.5 octaves does give you quite a nice playable range. In terms of what we've got on the top panel, basically we've got wonderful sounding VCOs, voltage controlled oscillators over here, each with 3 different wave shapes which you can combine using the switches here. And of course it's an Oberheim sound, so the big news here is the filter. This is the SEM filter, so it's a 2-pole multi-mode state variable filter with a variation control here, so you can easily continuously move through the different filter types, with a nice big cut-off pot here, and of course the all-important resonance. And yeah, so that's basically the core of the sound here, but the really nice thing about the TEO-5 is just the huge amount of modulation possibilities you've got. We've got 2 LFOs here, we've got 2 envelopes, we've got a full set of effects here as well, Arpeggiator Sequencer, but the real kind of powerhouse of the whole thing is this Modulation Matrix down here. So yeah, so a really powerful system, but let's just take a quick listen to it. So we've got to start off with the It's an Oberheim sound, but let's have a quick listen to this. So you can hear that typical kind of nice Oberheim pad type style. If we run through some of the other sounds that we've got here, oh yeah, of course we've got to play this one as well. This makes a full use of that filter, and you can really hear how when you crank the resonance on this, it's just got that really kind of beefy SEM style sound. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Now, another really interesting thing that we've got on the TEO is the fact that we've got FM on here. Now, of course, if you're familiar with the OBX8, with the OB6, and some of the older Oberheims as well, you'll have seen XMod, and that is essentially FM between the oscillators. It's also similar to the sort of stuff that you'll find on the sequential with the polymod as well. But that type of frequency modulation is exponential. Well, with the TEO-5, we've actually got through zero FM on here. And what does that mean? Well, basically, I've got the mod wheel set up to give you an exponential thing. Now, if we just have I'll just hold this chord down, C major, and if we listen to it now with exponential FM, you can hear it knocks it out of tune and goes really kind of quite wild quite quickly. Whereas with the through zero FM, we've got a really musical, tuned in style of FM. So that's a really, really lovely way of getting some different kinds of timbres. Of course, you know, we're dealing with analog oscillators and filters here, so, you know, having FM with analog oscillators is a really lovely thing to have on a synth like this as well. Now, of course, we've got some effects on here as well. This is something I've set up, and this is using the ring mod effect. And I really like this one because you can use the ring mod essentially like a nice kind of amplifier tremolo kind of effect. See, we've got a lot of LFO there on the filter. A really huge sound. Incredible. I can't help but laugh at that one. That's so crazy. So anyway, I've got a nice patch on here, and this is using the arpeggiator. So I'll just hold down a couple of chords there. And basically now it just gives me, my hands are free now to start playing around. So let's have a listen to the filter. So at the minute, we're going through the low pass. Again, we can get that resonance right up. Now it's quite a soft oscillator sound. But let's go into the notch filter. And I really love the sound of the notch filter. With the notch, you can basically get really lovely phaser style effects there. And then of course we can transition them through up into the high pass. And we've got a high pass filter. So all of these different filter types are really nice to work with. Now one of the great things is, of course, we've got a whole load of modulation. So I can get an LFO here, and I'm going to put it to the filter state. So I can actually LFO this using the LFO here. So now we're basically modulating the state variable aspect of the synth. Bring in a bit of that FM again. Maybe we'll change the octave range here. So really lovely stuff there. Now, let's stop the arpeggiator for a moment. And I'm going to go to a basic patch. And in the basic patch, basically now, I can just start off with the oscillators here. So we've just got a single sawtooth on oscillator 1 here. And I can change that between the triangle, square. We can add them together. Of course, if I go to the square, I've got pulse width control here as well. Now you'll notice on the top panel we don't have a mixer available, but we do have a mixer. If you press and hold OSC1, this is now going to give you OSC1 level. If you press and hold oscillator 2, you get a level for that as well. So let's just switch them both in. Let's just change the frequency of oscillator 2. And again, I can use the OS level here to basically bring that down and to put it in the place that I need it. Just bringing in a little bit of envelope on this now. Now let's just explore the sequencer. I really love this sequence. So basically it's polyphonic, and we have 5 voices of course in the TEO-5, so we make use of those. And you've got your ties there, and then you can tie those in, and then just, there we go. Let's listen to that. We'll go here and bring in a bit of reverb. We've got a dedicated reverb here. And on the effects at the top here, we can go to things like delays there. Get that clocked as well. There we go, sounding good now. Now we've got a huge modulation matrix here as well, and I can very quickly take control of stuff. So for example, if I want the amp envelope here to control, let's say, the cross mod here, all I do is press source, move a pot on the envelope 2. That's taken me through to a dedicated page now where I can link that up. I can then press destination, move the X mod, and now I just need to control the amount here. Let's just shake that up a little bit as well. So you can hear how that's basically using that envelope then to shape the amount of cross mod that we've got going on. So I've got a really interesting sound here. This is called TEO-caster. It's got a really lovely guitar tone to it. I really enjoy this one. So why don't we switch on the arpeggiator? So arpeggiator on there, and of course we've got our different modes. You can see on the screen here, up, and down, and we've got a sine as well. So I'm going to go with a sine. And let's just hit the hold button as well. So we've got that running. Now the interesting thing with the arpeggiator is you've also got this control which adds an extra note on each of the notes. We can add another 3 notes, and then a 4th one added there. And of course we've got our octave range as well. And we can use the clock divide to change the speed. So a really interesting kind of way of, of working with an arpeggiator there with these extra repeat notes here. Now we've got some great sounds on the effects, and at the minute we're listening to a rotary speaker. So let's maybe just take off the arpeggiator and just hold a chord down. You can hear that speed up there, a bit more depth to it. And we've got an extra control here. So that's a really nice effect, of course, the rotary speaker, but you know, we've got a lot to choose from here, including the ring mod. Now this ring mod is basically modelled on Tom's very first product, I think from, if memory serves correctly, 1970, he started building ring modulators as his first thing. So here we've got lovely kind of ring mod AM kind of effect there. We can add a bit of sound to that. And it will slow right down as well. Now it's a bit difficult to hear on this particular patch. Maybe we'll just go for a basic patch for this, and then go back to the ring mod. There we go. Turn it on. You can hear it slows really right the way down there. I really like that, but of course you can then take it into those crazy kind of areas as well. Have a bit of reverb as well after that. Lovely stuff. Now another effect that Tom Oberheim was very famous for, of course, is the phaser, and once again we've got a phaser effect in here, and that's taken from a modelling of Tom's original phaser design. The speed down, get the phaser depth up, add a bit of feedback in there as well. Once again a bit of reverb, of course, to cap it off. Lovely stuff. So we've taken a good listen to the synth now and all the various different aspects to it. The TEO-5, I mean, you know, you've got 5 analog voices with your VCOs, oscillators, your wonderful sounding SEM filter, but all this amazing modulation stuff on the top panel as well. 2 LFOs there, 2 envelopes, and in the modulation matrix we've got even more. I mean, you can do really interesting things, for example, by taking the audio out and folding that back in as a feedback. We've got a dedicated filter out as well, so again you can fold that sort of stuff out. You've got a lot of different controls here. As sources, you can apply noise to whatever you want as well, and you could take Oscillator 2 and apply that to whatever you want as well. And then if we go down to our destinations, you know, you've got the full range of controls on available to you in the mod matrix, including all the controls for the effects as well. So really powerful stuff to play around with there. So what I'll do now is I'll just switch back to this bank here and let's see what we've got. Let's get a little sequence running. Let's go find another sequence now. This this one, if I remember correctly, has got on the program here an alternate tuning. Yes, we have. Let's put it back to chromatic. That's one thing that I personally love, is the fact you've got alternate tunings in here and they can be saved per patch as well. And let's see, I think we might have one last sequence here. I don't know what this one is, but we'll find out.